I think we should start by just reinforcing the reasons why we're all here. We're all here to raise awareness of mental health, to do it in a way that acknowledges the link between healthy exercise and mental health. But above all, most importantly, we're here to honour the memory of a really special young man who was taken from us too early. With order of proceedings for today, we've got a couple of really special speakers. People who are pioneers and have been pioneers in identifying mental health and doing things about it. And we'll hear for them next. And then after that, we will, Reggie's going to do a bit of quick talk and thank the people who put today together. So without further ado, introduce you to our first talker. He's a well-known radio personality. He's the founder of the wonderful Gotcha for Life movement, and he's just
in the world as well. He's going to be a part of Gotcha for Life moving forward. We just had a chat about it. I've got him on a good day. He said yes. Big shout out to everyone who swam, everyone who's here. Big shout out to Tobe's family. Very emotional moment, obviously, for everyone today. And I can appreciate that. I've been at way too many of these things. In fact, I've got another 2 to go to today out in the western suburbs before I finish up today. So we lose 6 beautiful Aussie blokes every single day. 6. That's 6 today, 6 tomorrow. 6 on Monday, 6 on Tuesday. And no matter how much good work everyone tries to do, and there's a lot of good people out there doing some really good work, those numbers are increasing ever so slightly, but they're not going down. We also lose 2 beautiful women or girls, so that's 8 a day. Much more than any other way to lose your life as an Aussie male between the ages of 15 and 44 is to take your own life. It's unacceptable. It's so sad, and we need to do something about it. And having days like today, having memories like today to take home to your loved ones, to try to do what you can do within your own community is the key. And surf lifesaving clubs have a huge, huge opportunity because you have got members, you have got people that look after each other here. But how many people here need to turn mates into true friends? We need to go past just being mates, just doing stuff together. We need to go past that and we need to take it to the next step. Asking someone how they're going, are you okay day? Of course, it's a huge day. Are you okay? Well, if you ask any bloke that, we're really good at fobbing that off. We can say, we're fine, mate, how are you going? And 3 seconds later, that discussion's over. It's the second and third questions we need to ask. A true friend would ask that. They wouldn't accept just, I'm fine, how are you going? The thing is that us blokes, we don't have the emotional tools to have that conversation. We've never been taught them properly. And it's not like my father didn't love me and wanted me to have a good life. He just didn't know because his dad didn't know, so my grandfather didn't know. But we have a real opportunity here, as we've done on the northern beaches so far, is to have sessions together as men. Programs in at schools, which I think is the absolute focus. If you think of your mental health as a line, you want to stay above that line as much as possible. The thing is, we will dip in and under, no doubt about it, because life is hard and there are dramas that happen. We need to be able to have some resilience to get through the dips, but most of the time we need to stay above that healthy mental line. The only way we can do that is by learning how to do it. We do not have those skills as Aussie blokes. 80% of being an Aussie bloke, I reckon, is awesome. I love being an Aussie bloke.
Thanks, Gus. Really lovely words. If anyone had the pleasure of watching Gus's documentary on youth suicide that appeared on ABC a couple of years ago, you may recall that in the last episode he brought back the 4 people that he thought most reflected what was needed to sort of solve this great problem. And the person he left the last, with the honour of the last word, was Rocket. Rocket's South Curl member for many, many years, a great personal friend, and a man who's become an inspiration to lots of people in the Curl area for the care that he has for people. So please welcome our own Robert Jones.
Thanks, mate. Follow Gus. My vulnerability, I guess, because I don't believe this is a badge of honour, it's a real life story, comes from 19 years ago when my marriage split up, and I was in that hole that I heard a lot of people talk about at Lifeline when I was there. And I mean, my wife left me. If I was her, I would have left me a lot earlier. But it wasn't a fun place. I was living on my own in a really large house, paying mortgage, paying rent somewhere else. The bloke next door, you might have seen the podcast on Hamish Watson. He got me for 100,000, and so there wasn't a lot coming right. So the drink seemed to be a reasonable way out, but it wasn't, and I hit rock bottom. And most of my mates didn't know what to do with me. Someone came over that night that I attempted to take my life, and he was at a loss for words. My father, who I was pretty much estranged from because I was brought up by my mother, he rang me the next day in hospital and said, "Don't be silly," so that really helped. And at the end of it, I got out. I got my marriage back together, and I became a keen student of positive psychology, philosophy, and I deemed that it was my responsibility to help others. Bring me up and tell me what you think is on the card, because it's something that is very important to the way we need to relate to people who are in strife. Does anyone know what that thing is on the back, the stick thing? It's called it's a North American Indian talking stick. Interesting enough, the last time my body let me ski, I was going up a chairlift with my ski instructor, so that's 5 years ago. She was 65 and I was 65. And I gave her that card, and she said, "My God, why have you got that on your card?" I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, I bring kids with hearing and speaking difficulties out here to a camp during the summer." And she said, "These kids, because they've got hearing difficulties and speaking difficulties, they tend to speak over the top of each other." Does that ring a bell with anyone? Anyone's in the corporate world? Does that ring a bell? My last 14 years in the corporate world, all I thought of meeting was people weren't listening, they were waiting for their chance to talk. Correct? Anyway, this lady used the North American Indian talking stick for the kids, and around the circle she would give the stick to someone, which is what the Indians used to do, and while that person had that stick, they were the only person who was allowed to talk, and everyone else had to listen. The reason I use that analogy is because the greatest skill that I've been taught in the last 20 years is the skill of listening. Is the skill of listening deep down, and the skill of listening for what people aren't saying as well as what they are saying, which is absolutely vital, dare I say, with our young people who don't feel, is the word brave enough to tell us their inner feelings. I do a role as a welfare officer at my rugby club. And one of the interesting commonalities with a lot of the young guys that are struggling these days is their expectation in life. Now, this is either given to them by their parents. I'm not bagging social media because I can't use it very well, but I will bag social media because I think it puts a terrible undue influence on our kids. And the issue with a lot of these kids is that they set their expectations here, and reality is here. And they don't know how to manage that space. I'm reluctant to overuse the word resilience because it's a bit accusatory. Good word, Robert. I think it's the right word. And I don't want to demean what young people have to.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think the big focus here, at the end of the day, is just building that awareness, and as Gus and Robert have said, we've just got to keep working at it. It's not going to be easy. I've got a lot of thank yous today. I just want to, first of all, thank Dave Farrell. It's been amazing. If you didn't come to this bloke is so special. This has been a dream of his to get this going, and what he's done has been amazing. He's just been the best, and he's built such a great team around him, and I just want to thank him so much, mate. I love you. Heaps of people around. I can't even see. Oh, they're a good colour. First of all, it was great to have James Griffin down there today. It was fantastic, especially on a voting day. Bazza has been the brains behind the event, but so much commitment into it. Kathy Proctor, Lisa Setri, my daughter Sal, for all the social media. Thanks, love you. Bob Art, Transport, Hardwood Diggers for the buses, Vivian Master and Deroy for photography. Albie for all the media. Peter Allen, Steve Hall, Water Safety. Thanks so much, guys. Steve Birch, been a real big backup for Baz. Chuck Berry, Termite, Steve Atkins and Zach. Terry Joyce and the two nurses, Lisa Holland, Deb Sykes, thanks so much. Craig Blake, Vent Management, Graham Dominich, Bucko, thanks so much, mate. You're unbelievable. Glenn Everingham with food, Michelle Lowry and Jeff and Jenny for the bar. Ryan Kerrigan for entertainment tonight, Lord Sava, and Gus Worland and Rocket. Thank you so much. Bendigo Bank. That's about it. Oh, I've probably missed all the water safety, sorry, and all the guys out in the boards and skis. Thank you so much. It's been a huge effort, and hopefully we can build out of this and just build that awareness. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Richie. That brings our proceedings to a close. Please feel free to hang around.